It's the Full Court Press.
Throws, ends it. Yes! Caught! Touchdown! Did he get it?
Good afternoon, Cache Valley. Welcome to the Full Court Press. Jason Walker here. Eric Frandsen will be along in just a moment. He popped into the other room to go say hello to a few people. So today, certainly an exciting day. Right now, we're just kind of sitting on the cusp of the return of high school football. And then tomorrow we have something of a return of, Utah State football, as they'll be participating in their first fall scrimmage. It'll be open to the public. You can go out to Merlin Olsen Field, 11 a.m. If memory serves, you'll be able to go out and watch. I imagine they'll scrimmage for an hour or two. And so you'll be able to get a good look at, what this team looks like as of right now. You'll get a first look at a bunch of the different transfers that Utah State has brought in. A lot of them that weren't there at spring ball. Most of the transfers you bring in, not a great chance they'll be available for spring ball. Sometimes they are, sometimes they aren't. Of course, with Utah State, they lost a bunch of their some of their transfers they had in spring ball. They had guys transfer in for spring ball and transfer out after spring ball. So a lot of turnover that Utah State's dealt with, but you'll have a really good chance of seeing these players on Saturday in the scrimmage. So, hey, Eric.
Hi. Sorry.
Popped out to go say hi to some people.
Yeah. Scrambling last-minute stuff.
I know. It's a pretty crazy thing and part of that is, us prepping for our streams for the high school football games. We'll have video streams of, all of them. You can find all of them on CacheValleyDaily.com. One of them, we're getting some help from our friends down in St. George, the Logan versus Pineview game, but every other game will be broadcast. And if all goes smoothly, we'll have video and audio. We'll have video. Bear River won't have video. It'll be audio only.
Correct.
But the others will have video, Mountain Crest, Ridgeline, Skyview. Even though Ridgeline and Skyview are both on the road, we'll have video of them as they take on their opponents. We'll preview those games a little bit later in the show, along with breaking down the types of things that we want to see out of Utah State scrimmage. So a lot of things to go over in today's show.
Yes, yeah, there's no shortage of content. Previewing a very busy night of the start of the high school football season. And as Jason said, let me get your thoughts. If you plan on going to the scrimmage tomorrow for Utah State, their first fall scrimmage, starting at 11 o'clock, what are you hoping to see? Are there particular players you're going to be keeping an eye on? The newcomers? Trying to get a sense of who they are, how they can impact the team? Those returning starters who you expect to take the next level and lead the team? So Blake Anderson is the play caller. Joe Cawthon is a defensive coordinator. So what is it that you're going to be looking forward to the most? Or is it just watching Aggie football on Merlin Olsen Field? And that's an okay answer, too.
Yeah, that's part of it. It's part of my job to try and break things down. So I'm going to have my pen and paper, going to have my, trying to map out the depth chart as best as I can for all the different positions, while also trying to make observations of the game. That's the problem. Is part of it, I'm trying to do data collection. Thank heavens I don't have to keep stats because the athletics department does that for us and gives us those stats afterward. But just trying to make the observations of every position group on most of the plays. It can be a lot, but obviously a big perk of these scrimmages is just a chance to go out and watch these guys play football. See them playing in full pads, throwing the football, making some hits, not a lot of big hits.
Yeah.
They usually go pretty light, trying to avoid injuries. But, a lot of potential plays to be made. And it will be interesting because, there are things that you'll look for in slight tweaks to the offense, some kind of major changes. I know it might look similar in some ways, but there's major changes on the defense. So plenty to look for with the scrimmage.
Yeah, I'm, pace. You talk about increasing the pace. What does that look like in practice? Coach Anderson talks about spreading it around. Coach Cephalo talks about spreading it around, utilizing the tight ends. I kind of feel like I've heard this message for a few years now. I'd like to see it in practice. I think that I'd like to believe that this year, just the talent that's there, it is a little bit more spread around. It's not necessarily focused in one area, but I would like to see how that ball does get distributed. I would like to see which wide receivers kind of separate themselves. And I would like to see, does that defensive front, do they make it tough on the offense? We like to talk a lot about the offense, but I'm probably more going to be more cued into what's happening defensively, just because it's a new coordinator and there's so many new bodies. How are they fitting in, and are they going to be able to affect the game positively on the defensive side?
Yeah, one thing that in spring ball, and it was a time when the defense, only recently added the defensive coordinator. We're still reeling from some of the transfers. We're dealing with transfers like mid-spring ball. And in these scrimmages, at least one of the scrimmages, I think I was actually looking back at the article I wrote about it and reminding myself that the offense in that scrimmage averaged like an insane number of yards per play. I certainly can't remember the exact number, but it was the most yards per play by an offense in any of the scrimmages in the Blake Anderson era. Because I was able to go back and compare some stats. The offense just did absolutely spectacular. They were balanced, great running, great passing. They were connecting on deep passes. Colby Bowman, Micah Davis, both catching a 60-yard touchdown. Big runs by pretty much every single one of the running backs. And obviously the quarterbacks getting in on throwing those deep passes. So the offense just gave it to the defense in a lot of cases. The defense is able to get a few, a decent amount of tackles for loss and sacks, kind of air quotes because they just blow the whistle early on a lot of those. But
yeah,
the offense was just absolutely giving it to the defense in a lot of plays, more so than they normally would. So it was kind of a curious thing because I guess the convention is usually the defense is supposed to do a little bit better because maybe the offense takes a little bit of time to get in tune, but the offense is already in tune. But some of that may have been, again, new defensive coordinator, attrition on the D-line and the secondary. They've brought in a bunch of guys now. There's a bunch of new defensive tackles, bunch of new players in the secondary. So will that change? Will there be more from this defense? How much have they been able to learn on the off season? How much have they been able to, gel together and learn all the things they need to learn in the week and a half that they'll have had by the time they take to the field tomorrow?
Yeah, I mean there are a lot of guys that are new, but there was a good number of them who were on campus before spring practices got started, and so they were able to get a little bit more experience and understanding of what the team is about and what these coaches want to accomplish. But there's still a good number of players who they just arrived just 2 weeks ago. I mean, as far as being in the film room and with the other guys in their position groups and starting to get on the field. So there's still an element of newness about this team. With a lot of different guys that we haven't quite seen just yet. So there'll be some rusty aspects of it, but it'll be fun to see how they are trying to incorporate these new players or just rely on those who were already here.
Yeah. 435-339-0321 if you want to text in, give your opinions. High school football starting tonight. Utah State fall camp, or at least the public aspect of fall camp. First fall scrimmage taking place tomorrow at 11 of 5338. Texting in says, I bet football is spelled Foobtall. Signed Phil Mickelson. Weird combination of references there. One, just a bit of a mistake on a flyer that got sent out, and then Phil Mickelson making bets, I guess. So,
Yeah, that's definitely in the news. I can't believe Phil Mickelson would have that much coin to bet. But I know
I don't know if he does.
He won a lot of money playing golf and endorsements. Maybe he won a lot of money in bets that were placed too. But that just seems like a lot of cash.
Well, that's the thing.
Being alleged.
I mean, gamblers, I guess, are definitely known for always betting within their means. Always. Never going beyond what they can pay.
Right.
They always bet
Right.
within their means.
Yes.
So I don't know. Maybe he didn't make that much because they say he was one of the most popular golfers in the world. So obviously made a lot of money and was certainly good at it. So he made a lot of money that way in winning tournaments, then also in endorsements. So is it $1 billion? I don't know.
With $100 million of net losses.
Yeah.
Now it seems unsurprising why he was so eager to do the Live Tour and be involved with that.
That was kind of a speculation at the time anyways because people knew he loved to gamble. They wondered, does he need the money? Now maybe it's confirmed. I don't know. It's one guy in a book, and people writing books claim the craziest things.
Yeah, but this is a guy that's pretty famous for keeping the receipts, too.
Yeah?
So, I don't know. But the Foobtal, yeah. Watch the Foobtal practice.
Go to the Foobtal scrimmage. It's what we're all waiting for. We're all just waiting for football to start again. I say with high school and with Utah State, but yeah, text us in if you have anything in particular you're looking for the scrimmage. I guess Eric, if there's
I was just gonna say, just for me, I know I talked about the defense. I'm just curious to see. Switzer. We've heard a lot about Switzer, and the coaches love him, but we haven't seen a lot of Switzer because he's had some injuries. But he's coming into this fall camp healthy. How does he line up and help what MJ Tafisi is doing, and the other linebackers that are going to be there, young linebackers coming into their own? This secondary that looks to be deeper, longer, more athletic. Are they more disruptive? But on the offense, I think I'm going to be paying, as I said, I'd like to see how well they spread the ball around. But I want to see if is how much progression and growth has taken place with Cooper Legas. Because as we talked about yesterday, what's the ceiling of this team? And it really kind of rides on how efficient, how dynamic Cooper Legas is going to be this fall.
Yeah, and I would hope that Cooper Legas does really well in these scrimmages because we talk about some of the other positions where there's guys who are going to come in that haven't been with the team or at least haven't practiced with the team. A lot of players on defense, practicing with the team for the first time just a week ago. Cooper Legas, most of his complement of receivers have been here since spring ball. He's been throwing to Colby Bowman, Otto Tia, Micah Davis, Terrell Vaughn, all these guys. The tight ends were fairly banged up in spring ball, so maybe that'll be something that's a bit different. But Cooper Legas had a chance to throw to a lot of these guys all spring. I don't know what workouts they're allowed to do together during the summer, but he's had a bit to work with these guys, so they should be able to show some chemistry, some growth. More so than maybe other positions. The offensive line, they're maybe going to be working in a couple of transfers that they brought in. Ralph Frias or Fry, I can't remember how to say his last name, but out of Arizona State, he might be jumping in, on the left side of the offensive line at left tackle. Maybe they'll be, working out a few more kinks there. The secondary, like the entire secondary, like Ike Larson, he's there, but the corners, I guess Ike Larson and Michael Onyanmu, like everyone else, if you've got more than 3 or 4 corners out there, it's just going to be, or 3 or 4 defensive backs, then most of them are going to be new. And they're all going to have to learn to work together. And obviously, you have to work seamlessly as a secondary, or you're just going to get burned. So they're going to be working through some things, but I would hope that Cooper Legas really shows out because he has all of the advantages. Thrown to these guys before, he's obviously been around the system, so he should be used to it and should look good. If he doesn't, then you're beginning to maybe start raising some red flags. Don't completely go all panic mode. It's
right.
Just one scrimmage. But you would hope that he would perform well. Of course, he performed well in spring, at least well enough. hopefully he'll be able to perform well in fall camp as well.
Yeah, and we know what Ike Larson can do. I know what MJ Tafisi can do. I know what Josh Sturzer is. I'd like to see a little bit more, obviously, from the position, but it's not necessarily a knock against him. But there are certain players that I already kind of know what to expect, and what I kind of anticipate to see out of them. It's the new players. It's the new defensive coordinator. And even though I know kind of what to expect from Cooper Legas because he's been around, I still think that is one to watch just to see where he's at in his growth and development as the offensive leader of the team.
Yeah, certainly.
Yeah. So if there's somebody else that's on your mind that you're going to be watching for, maybe it's another one of these newcomers. Maybe it's a younger up-and-coming player that you're looking forward to seeing them take that next step, or you're anticipated to see what they do. 435-339-0321 here on the Full Court Press. Again, 11 o'clock, and it's free. It's fun to go to these scrimmages. And and the weather is warming up a little bit, but still, Saturday, 11 o'clock, should be nice. In fact, I'm double checking what our weather's supposed to look like tomorrow at that time.
Should be all right. 5338 texting in saying
low 80s.
Saying, dear
upper
USU
70s.
Athletics, I see that 4 of the Aggie football home games still don't have TV coverage lined up for them. Will that get resolved soon? I'm not entirely sure. I know that actually earlier today they announced that all the kickoff times, I think. It's like there was some kickoff time pending when they were releasing their schedule. I believe they resolved that part of it.
They did. They announced the kick times for all home games today. And I need to pull that up just to verify that. I know that there are some games that do not have national TV coverage. I can say that I am aware. I don't know if it's the right way to say it, but I know that Utah State is trying to find some other solutions for television broadcast coverage. It may not be on a national level. It may be more on a regional, local level.
Facebook.
Or even some of the channels down in Salt Lake who have produced high school games, and maybe they want to produce an Aggie game on one of the local channels here. So there may be some other options out there, but they haven't announced them, what those TV partners are. But they have at least announced what the kick times are going to be. And look, if you're an Aggie fan who likes just going to football games, this is a great schedule for football. There are no late nights. There are no early, weird times on weird days. This is a great schedule for Aggie fans to go watch some fun football.
Yeah, so looking at the home schedule, obviously week 1, not at home, you're going to Iowa, but then hosting Idaho State, that's one of the games that, as of right now, it doesn't have any TV partner, and I can kind of understand why.
Yeah.
It's not the most thrilling. You do have James Madison as the next home game. The Idaho State game, so that kicks off at 6. And skip a week on the road against Air Force. You have James Madison. That's also a 6 p.m. kickoff time. That's another one that doesn't have a TV partner, which I feel like somebody should want to broadcast that. I mean, if you're willing to broadcast, Utah State and UConn, James Madison, I know they're not this, football power, but they had a good year last year. Should be a good team this year. But, yeah, that's a game that doesn't quite have the TV yet. Then Colorado State. That's the next home game, October 7th. Another 6 p.m. A lot of 6 p.m. kickoff times for the Aggies. And maybe that's why a lot of these don't have TV, is because they didn't want to have those super late windows. Because they're, 6 o'clock, ideal time, but TV stations may have already filled those time slots.
Yeah, well, that was honestly part of the appeal, to cut ties with ESPN and do a new deal with Fox and CBS, because ESPN was routinely putting USU in kick times after 8 o'clock. And that wasn't just happening to USU. It wasn't just USU complaining about it. There were a lot of Mountain West schools who did that. Pac-12 had a similar complaint. And we know what happened with them. But But Fox and CBS rarely put games in the Mountain West in those really late windows, which is great.
Yeah. And the Aggies do play Fresno State at 6. That's next October 13th, the week after Colorado State. That's on CBS Sports Networks. They are staying nationally televised for that. And then last couple of home games, Nevada, 1 p.m. Nice 1 p.m. game. And then Boise State, so Nevada on November 11th, Boise State November 18th. That's on CBS Sports Network, 5 p.m. kick time. So most of the home games not on TV, which is a little awkward.
Just means you need to come watch it in person.
Yeah, but yes, if you're going to pick which kind of game you'd rather not be on TV, it's the home games, because then, you can just go.
Yeah.
And you just go watch them. I don't have to worry about it. If they're at home, I'm going to be there.
Or you can always listen on your local radio.
There you go.
Friends at KVNU.
Local radio, KVNU.
There you go.
Pre-game, post-game, and during the game.
Everything in the middle.
There you go.
Yes.
All right. We do need to take a quick break. On the other side, we're going to reveal number 11 on the top 25 Aggies of 2023. Who is it? Well, you can find out next here on 106.9 The Fan.
This is Cache County Fire Chief Rod Hammer. Due to current and forecasted weather conditions coupled with extremely dry vegetation, the state forester, in consultation with fire officials, has determined that measures must be taken to prevent the ignition of forest and rangeland fires. Therefore, the following acts are prohibited in unincorporated Cache County and on state lands. 1. There are no open fires of any kind except within established public facilities, in improved campgrounds, picnic areas, or in permanently constructed fire pits at private homes where running water is present. There is no smoking allowed except within an enclosed vehicle, trailer, or building, a developed recreation site, or while stopped in an area that is paved or free from dry vegetation. No discharging or using any fireworks, tracer ammunition, or other pyrotechnic devices, including exploding targets. No cutting, welding, or grinding metal in areas of dry vegetation. No operating a motorcycle, chainsaw, ATV, or any other small internal combustion engine without an approved and working spark arrestor. The Cache County Fire District and the firefighters in Cache County appreciate your help.
Crystal Vision carries unique and well-made eyewear rather than focusing on a famous name. They curate their collection around brands, styles, and colors you won't find anywhere else. They deal with small businesses that aren't mass-producing frames. Artisans handcraft your frame using the best materials so that will outlast cheap frames that are only made to last until your insurance benefits renew the next year. Crystal carries independent eyewear, small batch manufacturing, and unique styles that will last for years to come. Your glasses will feel like they were made for you. Crystal Vision, online at crystalvision.com.
Cherry Peak Resort's summer concert series is bigger than ever. Joe Nichols, August 12th, for an unforgettable evening.
Good day for living. Give me that smile and I'm somewhere sunny at 75. Down in broken Hartsville.
Joe Nichols with special guest Charlie Jenkins.
Sometimes that mountain doesn't move.
August 12th. Visit skicpr.com for your summer concert series tickets at Cherry Peak Resort.
Copiers, printers, service, and supplies are just the beginning. Les Olson IT is the premier source for your business's structured cabling, IT, software, telephones, and security systems. We partner with you to find the ideal solution to all of your office technology needs. Tell us your goals and we'll get you there. Find out more at lesolson.com.
Les Olson IT.
Get on board.
The water is open. It's time to go boating and fishing and leave stress in our wake. Feel the wind as we ride and a fish on the line. Reel in our first catch and feel the sun at our backs. It's get out on the water season. It's time to get on board. Find out where to get on board near you. Visit Take Me Fishing and Discover Boating to learn more. And please recreate responsibly.
Get on board. Get on board.
The Aggies, the Jazz, the high schools, the full court press on Sports Talk Radio, 106.9 FM, 1390 AM. The Fan.
Every day at about 4:25, at least every weekday we've had the show, we've been revealing yet another player on the top 25 Aggies of 2023. We're all the way down to 11. We're almost at the top 10. We'll find out who just missed out on the top 10, but is still obviously one of the top 25 Aggies. Here to introduce this player, Hall of Fame broadcaster Al Lewis.
The Cache Valley Media Group's countdown of the top 25 Aggie football players for 2023. At number 11 is a portal transfer to Utah State, a wide receiver, Colby Bowman. Bowman transfers to Utah State from Stanford, where he is 6'2", 200 pounds, a junior, and originally from Orange, California. Number 11 on our list is wide receiver, Colby Bowman.
So Colby Bowman, wide receiver, potentially one of the fastest players on the team if what Blake Anderson's comments or what he said about Colby Bowman is to be believed. He says that he can run a 4.440. Didn't say like whether it's a 4.49 or a 4.42. There's a bit of a difference there, but still potentially a really fast receiver. He's already 6'2", 195. He was a 4-star recruit coming out of high school, maybe because of that size and speed. He went to Stanford, didn't really pan out there, didn't play a whole lot. The most he got was last year where he appeared in 11 games, only caught 7 passes for I believe about 44 yards. So transferring to Utah State after getting his degree at Stanford, so certainly wasn't a complete waste. Walk out of Stanford with a degree, that's always probably a W.
Yes.
But going to come here to Utah State and likely play a huge role for the Aggie passing game. An offense that's had a lot of success bringing in Power 5, level wide receivers, and then those guys becoming 800-900 yard receiving kind of guys. There's quite a few of them in the past few years.
Yeah, I mean, there's kind of a double-edged sword here with Colby Bowman. On one hand, as you just said, Utah State has a pretty good history here of guys who were on Power 5 rosters, very limited action. They come to Utah State, an opportunity to really showcase their skills and their abilities, and they have banner years. And there's a pretty good track record of that happening. There's also been a few instances where a player has transferred to Utah State from a Power 5 program with a lot of hype, and we've gotten excited about, and we rarely see anything materialize. I think with Colby Bowman, watching what we've been able to see so far is that it's going to be more of the prior rather than the latter. And that's what we're all hoping for. And as you can tell, I mean, enough of us in our ballots who submitted put him pretty high on the list. And it's because there's this anticipation in what we've seen in practices that this is somebody who can be a leader among the wide receivers, but also somebody that has a skill set and speed to really kind of spread things out, open things up for the offense.
Yeah, and I think one of the, at least the, hopeful positives is that I know in the past we've seen, Power 5 transfers come in not succeed. Usually if they're not succeeding, we can kind of get a bit of a hint because they won't have made it up the depth chart by spring or fall camp. Colby Bowman's been pretty much toward the top of the depth chart. He's been playing with the 1s or 2s, since he got here. And he actually got here pretty late, so he had to hit the ground running or else. And so, and I think in fall camp, if he continues to play at the top of the depth chart, we're going to see great things from him. I know he's kind of battling with Otto Tia. Those two are kind of battling for those top spots as far as being an outside wide receiver. Certainly Bowman's got a really good chance. Otto Tia, he appeared earlier on the list, so certainly we're high on both of these players. And Colby Bowman, he's potentially has what the Aggies have been missing in that speed. Again, Anderson's saying he's a 4.4 guy. If he has that speed, he'll be able to give the Aggies what they didn't have last season, a real deep threat. Something they did have in 2021, and that worked out pretty well for the Aggies.
Yes.
And this is a vertical offense. Blake Anderson wants to spread it out and get vertical. They couldn't really do that last year. None of their wide receivers were really built to be vertical. And Colby Bowman, he's built to get down the field with that speed. And so if he's able to utilize that and Cooper Lega's able to get the ball to him, then he's going to be a dangerous weapon in this offense, going to cause a lot of opponents some real headaches.
Yeah, and somebody who prides himself on his speed and his footwork, had a chance to catch up with him during the media day when Utah State opened camp. Just impressed with, this is a very level-headed, very smart wide receiver and very athletic wide receiver who's going to help this offense. I think it's only going to help Utah State move forward and kind of in their attempts to get back to where they were 2 years ago. Last year, a bit of a step down, and part of that was inconsistency at wide receiver play. And I think Colby Bowman helps solidify that among many others at that position as well.
Yeah, Bowman is just kind of a microcosm of, I guess, what I've been, billing Utah State as. You feel like he has all the tools to be what he needs to be. You just got to buy in, make things work, and if they can do that, you're going to have an elite season. Colby Bowman puts his size, speed, and his smarts together in this offense. This is a guy who can top 1,000 yards receiving, depending on how much they actually do spread the ball around. He could very well have 700, 800, 900 yards, even if they're spreading the ball around a lot. If he's able to make those big plays, get vertical, get open, have consistent hands, which some wide receivers haven't had.
Yes.
The last couple of years. So
he's got another year of eligibility, too.
Yes, he's got 2 years to thrive here. You're not going to get like, in 2021, suddenly you had 3 wide receivers just break out for the Aggies. Then they were all gone.
Yeah.
If Bowman breaks out, he's got another year. So, and that's another kind of thing with these like one and done, these Power 5 guys who come in. So you'll see Mariner, Brian Cobbs, and others, they're here for a year and then they leave. Usually because they're graduate transfers. So it is nice that Bowman can have 2 years to make things work here at Utah State.
Yeah, he wears number 8. It's kind of an impact number for Utah State. We've seen some great USU wide receivers wear that jersey number before. 6'2", 195-pound wide receiver Colby Bowman, the latest in our top 25 Aggies.
All right, we're going to take another break. On the other side, we'll continue the conversation of Aggie sports here on 106.9 The Fan.
How many years has it been since you were married? 1 year? 10 years? Longer? This is Jarek from Jarek's Fine Jewelry. No matter how many years it's been, you always remember just how you felt. Show her you love her all over again with something special from Jarek's. We can help you surprise her or bring her in and you can pick it out together. Maybe it's restyling the old ring or upgrading to a larger diamond that she just may have hinted about. No matter how many years it's been, let us help make it special on your anniversary.
Jarek's Fine Jewelry. Make it special, make it Jarek's.
Do you have a backup generator, or have you explored the options of adding one to your home? Generac backup generators will keep your home or business safe and cool during the summer months if the power goes out. Do you already have a system? Golden Spike Electric can service it for you. If you don't have one, Golden Spike Electric can find the right model for your needs. Find them online at gsegenerators.com or call 435-257-3016. Golden Spike Electric and Generac, power you can count on.
There's still plenty of time to get into the mountains, hunting, or your favorite campground. Fall is just around the corner. Bull Moose RV on 6th West has new inventory in stock. Bumper pulls, fifth wheels, and more. Scott and the team will help your family fulfill your RV dreams. Have an RV and need some repairs done? They have a service deal for you. Save 10% or up to $250 off any service repair. That's only at Bull Moose RV, 1850 North, 600 West. Online at bullmooseRV.com.
Come and see us at Murdoch Hyundai for our 97th anniversary during the Hyundai Getaway Sales Event. For nearly a century, we've been delivering excellence and quality service to the Salt Lake Valley, and we're not stopping anytime soon. Right now, receive 3.29% for 5 years on the Tucson or Santa Fe. Every new Hyundai comes with America's Best Warranty, a 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty, and owner's assurance. When you walk through our doors, you feel like family. At Murdoch Hyundai in Logan, Linden, and Murray, and online at murdochhyundai.com.
Call 866-628-3065 to see dealer for complete details. Offer expires 9/5/2023.
Check this out. This is The Herd. You're excited. I'm excited. With Colin Cowherd.
You're looking to salvage the pick now with Zach Wilson. What you do is show them off now. Teams are going to be making all sorts of moves. And can you find a team out there that starts 3-3? They lose their quarterback. They don't necessarily think Zach is a 10-year guy, but he's got the best arm on the market.
This is The Herd. Weekdays from 10 to 1 on Sports Talk Radio, 106.9 FM, 1390 AM. The Fan.
Why did I wait so long to see a retina specialist?
Retinal disease can steal your eyesight, but it doesn't have to. Patients who seek care from a retina specialist have the best chance of preventing vision loss due to age-related macular degeneration or diabetic retinopathy. AMD symptoms to look out for are distortion or warping of straight lines, as well as blurred or loss of central vision. Patients with diabetic retinopathy should seek treatment if they notice the appearance of spots or floaters or blurred and distorted vision. Visit seeforalifetime.org.
Following the local teams, it's the Full Court Press with Eric Frandsen and Jason Walker.
Welcome back to Full Court Press. 435-339-0321. Want to join the conversation and talk to Utah State football? We'll be getting into high school football in the second hour, breaking down all the games that are happening. That music ended rather abruptly. I didn't even turn it off.
It's just done.
Yeah, it's just all right, I'm out. So, yeah, we'll be breaking down each of the games, how you can watch each of the games. Pretty much all of them kicking off 7 o'clock. Some in the Cache in the Cache Valley, some on the road. I know one of them's all the way down in St. George. Otherwise, I'd probably already be on my way somewhere.
That's true.
If it were a road game, at least. If it were home, I can usually stick around for the full show or most of it.
We have arranged with our friends in St. George to still have that game.
Our friends.
Yes. We're providing them a broadcast for the Mountain Crest Hurricane game, and they're providing a broadcast for us for the Logan Pineview one. So yeah,
it's like you got that
works out.
Little meme where it's like, I receive Logan versus Pineview. You receive Mountain Crest versus Hurricane.
Yes.
Fair trade.
Very fair. Very fair.
Great trade. So we've been talking about Utah State football. We're going to keep it there for probably the remainder of this hour. Al Lewis continuing to just kind of play a lot of his interviews that he did. We've got several more we haven't even gotten to. We've been talking Aggie wide receivers, and there's another one that I don't know if we've talked about a whole lot in our preseason discussions, mainly because he's like the one known of the offense. That's Terrell Vaughn. He's received a bunch of preseason accolades. Not like the biggest, but some outlets had him first team, some had him second team. He was named to a watch list. I suddenly can't remember the name, but it was a watch list for being like the most versatile player.
Yeah.
Which, he's the guy who obviously can, catch the ball. He probably going to be the leading receiver for the team this year, or at least one of them. Runs the ball every now and again, and he's obviously the kick returner. So
yeah, he's a very dynamic option and weapon for Utah State. And it was interesting. I believe it was Blake Anderson. Or was it Kyle Cephalo? I think it was Blake. Maybe it was Kyle. I don't know.
Maybe it was Joe.
Somebody said it at USU about look at how Terrell Vaughn, how he looked at the first part of the season compared to the back half of the season.
I think that was Kyle.
Somebody who was new, learning what this offense is, and as he started to understand it and internalize it and see it, became more and more of a weapon for Utah State. So he had that advantage of figuring that out and starting to excel in the back half of last year. Gets us excited about what he can do this season.
Yeah, and some of that, the fact that he was able to, or he had to come in for Kyle Van Leeuwen. And, of course, you get Kyle Van Leeuwen back, so that's obviously a benefit to the wide receiver room. And I think Kyle Cephalo pointed that out. I was like, we're all kind of underrating the fact that Kyle Van Leeuwen's back. He beat out Terrell Vaughn for the starting job last year. Then he got injured. Yeah, Terrell Vaughn certainly turning it on at the end of the year, which is why he was probably honestly, even though Brian Cobbs, I think, led the team in receiving, I think by the end of the year, Terrell Vaughn was the best receiver on the team.
Yeah.
So, but here's Al Lewis, who had a chance to sit down with Terrell Vaughn previously at Utah State Media Days.
Terrell Vaughn is our man, and, there's a couple of guys on this team. I think of Ike Larson a little bit. I think of you. If there's a play to be made, it seems like you guys are playmakers. What's the key to that, Terrell?
The key is just always being ready for your time to shine, honestly. Like last year with mine was with Weber State. I got to make everything count. Coach said, return out of the end zone. I was like, okay, I got to make something happen this time. So go ahead and return that for 100 yards, touchdown. Yes, sir.
So you went out on that kickoff, and no matter where the kick was in there, you were supposed to bring it and run and get us back into the game or give us some juice.
Yes, sir. That's what Coach P said to me. He's like, wherever it's at, just take it out. Like, I'm like, all right, here's my time to shine. Made it count. Family was there, and it was a great time.
Because you're a junior college guy to this program. It probably took a little bit of time to kind of feel your way in, where you fit in with everybody else. I mean, you didn't know everybody and things like that. That's probably not easy.
I feel it was I was ready to go no matter what. I think it was just coaches, matter of fact of just making sure I was ready, like you said, like different JUCO to D1. So it was just a matter of fact of making sure I was ready for them. But in my heart, I was ready to go no matter what once I stepped foot in here.
Well, and Terrell, by the end of the season, you're a big part of the offense. They're running almost as many running plays sometimes for you besides pass plays as the running backs in some ways.
Oh, yeah, for sure. It became a big part. Like I said, always be ready. You know, if the ball's in my hands, I got to make something happen. No matter what, that's how it's been since youth football for me. No matter what, I'm going to make something happen, either first down or touchdown. For me, that's always in my head.
So what's the key? I mean, do you possess a great amount of speed, shiftiness? Do you run great routes, or do you cut fast? What makes it that you can make big plays?
I think it's all you said, all at once. You know, just being ready to read the defense when they're coming at you. Being smart with the ball. Obviously, don't turn around and make something negative. Always be positive. Go north and just north for me, honestly, not south. Yes, sir.
Well, because a lot of your plays are quick little passes. They might just hurry and get in your hands, or the fly sweep type stuff. So you do have to watch yourself of not going sideways, and you'd have to get something going and plant and go.
Oh, yeah, like I said, it's make something happen with the ball. Like, they trust me with it, so I got to make it count for them, like, to be able to get the next play, the ball to me. So, yes, sir.
I read a lot of different names at the wide receiver position. Now, you're a slot guy, but there's outside guys, and you're kind of all in the same group in some ways. And so you're speaking for that group. There's a lot of new guys there, but a lot of bodies there. There's some guys who've been in our program that I think they still feel good about. How do you read the wide receiver slot position?
I mean, like you said, we're full in that room, and we're all playmakers no matter what. If someone goes in for me, I believe in that person because how hard we've been working on the off season. You know, throwing routes when it's not football time out there, just being with the quarterback, making sure we have great connection, and everyone's a playmaker out there. So I got faith in my room, honestly, and the team.
Well, there's two names that come to my mind: Micah Davis and Bowman, who are new guys to the program, kind of like you were last year. Have you tried to help them since they've been here to understand what needs to happen?
Oh yeah, of course. You know, like I said, we're always in the meeting room, meeting with, like I said, play calls. Making sure we have everything down, ready to go, crisp and clean, 100% on your routes and everything. So it's been great working with them during the spring because that's when they came. So it's been fun, though. It's been great. I know a lot of us saw Kyle Van Leeuwen, who plays at your spot, who got hurt last year early in the season. He's a guy who could maybe we can double slot at different teams. Oh, yeah. No, we're all ready for that. Everyone's going to come in the same time, so it's going to be exciting for them. Well, not them, but other teams because they don't know what's coming.
What's your read of Cooper Legas as your quarterback throwing to you and getting you the football?
He's a great guy, honestly. You know, a great friend out there on the football field, and I can trust him no matter what he does because he knows the defense very well and trusts his matches up.
Mm-hmm. Let me talk about you personally. If, say, 5 years ago, I'd have said to you, Terrell, you're going to be at Utah State. Would you have ever thought of that in your mind at that particular time?
Personally, no, because like I said, probably everyone's maybe dream was probably go to Oregon because they're uniforms. But, you know, it's a blessing to be here, honestly. It's all God's plan.
How did it work out, or how did you come to Utah State?
I mean, it was actually a struggle, honestly. So I was committed to UTEP at first, and then Utah State came to see me after I committed there. And I was like, I'm going to decommit and then go to Utah State without no visit or anything. I just felt like it was home for me. It just felt right.
How did you feel it was home if you really didn't visit or whatever? What was it about that?
It was just God telling me just one night and just saying, you know, this is your spot to be. Mm-hmm. And obviously it is.
What other sports were you in besides football?
I played basketball here and there, but I ran track. That was my other main sport in middle school.
How fast do you run?
Very fast.
What's your time?
I mean, that was in middle school, so I couldn't really tell, but it's faster than the other people on the field. That's all that matters.
So you feel like you could run with just about anybody on this team if you lined up at one end of the field to run to the other end of the field?
Of course. If it's a game situation, I'm ready to go, always.
Your game speed is even better than your running speed.
Yeah, it's a flipping the switch for the game speed. Okay. Yep.
Okay, so the season I mean, you came in after we had the great year the year before, and I know it didn't go as everybody wanted last year in some ways, and the bowl game was disappointing in the way it all finished up, because the Boise game was right there to maybe be had where we needed that one. Exactly. What's your feeling now going into this year then, Terrell Vaughn?
This season, I'm just more comfortable with the offense, comfortable with the whole team, actually, and the coaches are more comfortable with trusting me with the ball, like I said early on, just making plays happen and trusting me with the ball in the hand, like I said.
Guys have raved us about Coach Cefalo. Do you feel the same?
Oh, yeah, of course. He's a great coach. I got to love him. He's the one that brought me into this program, and he trusted me and wanted to offer me on the spot when I first met him, not even in contact, nothing, just on the spot.
And then when the coach, we talked about playmakers a few minutes ago with him, he mentioned your name. So he's the offensive coordinator calling the plays, so that's got to make you feel good too, because he wants to get the ball in your hands.
Exactly. He knows what I could do with the ball in my hands, and just like I said, I was greedy this offseason. I'm going to compete at the highest level I can this year.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Terrell, it's nice to talk to you. We'll talk to you again in the season. Good luck.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you.
So that's Terrell Vaughn sitting down with Al Lewis. Certainly a lot of interesting things a lot of these athletes have had to say, and just how optimistic they are and all the positive things they have to say about their teammates. Of course, that's always kind of built in, but you can really feel the optimism of these guys. They're really confident that they're going to be playing good football this season. So,
yeah, I'm excited. I think that there's a feeling that they know last year was a little bit of a step down, and they want to get back to where things have been before. We'll see. A lot of new faces, though, but there's still there is a level of excitement for this team, and we'll get a first glimpse of how it's coming together tomorrow at 11.
Now we're going to take a quick break. On the other side of this, we'll have our daily conference realignment update on obligatory on this conference realignment radio show. That's coming up next here on the Full Court Press.
Summer may be coming to an end, but we still have some hot deals for you. This is Jay with Daryl's Appliance. Our farmer-tested and approved Speed Queen washer is built tough and has a 5-year warranty. It's only $13.99. Snag a matching electric dryer to complete the set. Come see why everyone is trading in their front-load washers for these best sellers. Backed by Daryl's service and warranty team. Daryl's West on Airport Road. Open until 6 p.m. on weekdays, 5 on Saturday.
This is Ryan at My Mattress. We have some surprising but awesome news to announce. Purple, the rocket ship in the mattress industry, has purchased IntelliBed, the best mattress in the industry. We could not be more excited. The beds have yet to arrive, but we flew out with Purple, and seriously, this new IntelliBed Purple lineup, it is immaculate. We have the whole Purple lineup and the IntelliBed Purple lineup. Isn't it time to sleep exceptionally? Only at My Mattress, now partnered with IntelliBed Purple.
Cache Valley Ear, Nose, and Throat, the Allergy Clinic and Hearing Aid Center are conveniently located at 2 locations, North Logan inside the new Three Peaks Medical Plaza and Providence on Gateway Drive. Doctors Benyon, Blotter, and Robinette, along with the entire staff, have over 75 years of combined medical experience, guaranteeing your family the very best patient care. Cache Valley Ear, Nose, and Throat serves all of northern Utah and southern Idaho and accepts most insurance products, including SelectMed. Go to CacheValleyENT.com for appointments and details. Cache Valley Ear, Nose, and Throat, North Logan and Providence.
Are you a renter looking for peace of mind and affordable insurance coverage? This is Matt Robbins with Quality First Insurance. As an independent auto owner's insurance agency, we have access to multiple insurance carriers and will give you options. We offer renters insurance policies that can be tailored to fit your needs. From protecting your personal belongings to liability coverage, Quality First has you covered. Call us today for a free quote. Auto Owners and Quality First Insurance.
What is dedication?
My daughter started making necklaces. She makes what we call affirmation fashion. I tell her every day that your black is beautiful. Your black is beautiful. And if there's anything better than being beautiful, it's being smart. And if there's anything better than being smart, it's being kind. And reaffirming that every day is our method of making sure her chin never drops. My dad wasn't around, and I remember riding a bike and falling off and cutting myself, and me never just wanting to get back on it. People ask, how your children learn how to ride a bike, and you didn't. I didn't teach them. I just created an environment where they taught themselves, and all I had to do was be there.
That's dedication.
Visit fatherhood.gov to hear more. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
The Aggies are #1 here. The Full Court Press. Connect with us on Facebook, Twitter, and online at 1069thefan.com.
If you're a do-it-yourself kind of guy, then your locally owned Napa Auto Parts store, it's a good place to know. They've got all the best brands: Croyle, Amsoil, Schaefer, BG, Seafoam. Find the parts, find the oil you need to keep your car and equipment running at its best. So, tease before going to break, we have to do our obligatory conference realignment talk. There's a statement put out by Oregon State, Eric, and I believe you have at least some of the highlights of that. Their comments about, keeping the Pac-12 together. There's talk about merging the Mountain West or Pac-12, even the AAC trying to get in on this. So tell us a little bit about the statement here.
Yeah, this is from President excuse me. Oh, sneeze.
It's an interesting name. President.
Yeah, great timing. From Oregon State President Jayathi Murthy. Not sure if I pronounced that properly. Yeah. Basically, just to summarize, there's a lot of frustration, understandably. They are doing what they can to preserve the Pac-12. And they think that's in the best interest of Oregon State athletes, and the remaining universities. So doing everything they can to stabilize and rebuild the conference. And there's also a call out to fans and supporters of Oregon State everywhere to rally around the school, to show out to these different events. Oregon State athletics has definitely been on the up and up. As he points out, there were a number of teams that reached the postseason last year. Quite a few. Now I got to find it in the statement where he says it exactly. But basically, there are 12 Oregon State teams advanced in the postseason. And so it's a school that is having a kind of its moment in athletics right now, and they want to just keep that going. Look, they understand their options are limited. If the ACC does not add Cal and Stanford, which it looks like they're not going to do, you've got 4 schools. Can you rebuild a conference with 4 schools as your foundation? That's what Oregon State is trying to advocate.
I think the problem is, and we've kind of gone over this before, is that there basically would have to be this gap year if you're going to add any teams from the Mountain West, which seems like the primary draw for the Pac-12 and a couple of AAC teams. Because, unless you're willing to fork over $34 million or take pretty much all of the Mountain West, it's hard for the Pac-12 to be able to take enough Mountain West teams to stay solvent as a conference. Because I said, 2024, they're going to go down to 4 teams. And the Mountain West, they're secure through 2024.
Yeah.
Because if teams want to jump out by then, again, they have to pay $34 million. And that's unlikely for the Pac-12 to try and wrangle 6 teams at that, probably at least minimum 6 teams at that price tag, or even 4 teams if you were going to pull like 2 from the AAC.
There are reports that officials at Cal and at Stanford have serious concerns about joining forces with the Mountain West because of several of those schools and their academic standards. Okay, fine. I mean, that's what got you into this mess.
Yeah, being a snob is what got you into this mess.
So should Utah State be worried about that? No, they're an R1 research institution. They fit the Pac-12 criteria as far as academics. So that shouldn't be a concern on that level. But how well do they compete? What's their media market? What's their total team value?
Yeah, they they don't do as well there. And so it's just Utah State's kind of on this edge where like you're not 100% sure if they fit what is like the new Pac-12 criteria, because obviously standards have been lowered here.
Right, and then I was just looking, just kind of comparing. Utah State sponsors, 8 men's sports, and Cal has 13. It's just there's a real issue with the number of sports that are even offered at these various schools too. It's a real conundrum.
All right, don't go away. We'll be back.
I'm Dan Patrick, and this is Above the Noise. Legalized gambling is one of sports' most profitable industries. Penn Gaming just agreed to make $1.5 billion in cash payments to ESPN and grant the mothership approximately $500 million of warrants in the next 10 years. In exchange, the two companies will create a new gambling platform. Despite the massive influx of cash and the added regulations, there are still concerns. Sports betting now more available than ever. A potential nightmare awaits. Look at the allegations Phil Mickelson's facing. He's alleged to have bet close to $1 billion over the last 30 years and reportedly lost nearly $100 million in doing so. It was even suggested that he was going to place a wager on himself in the Ryder Cup. Remember when people were up in arms about Calvin Ridley? He lost close to $4,000 in bets a couple of seasons ago. This is an entirely different level, and it may be only a matter of time before the industry is rocked by controversy. I'm Dan Patrick, and this is Above the Noise.